Prime Minister Lawrence Wong says places like the Malay Heritage Centre and Kampong Gelam can become spaces of shared meaning for all Singaporeans. He says every community's contribution to shared identity is how Singaporeans have lived together in harmony. PM Wong says the government will continue supporting efforts to keep cultural precincts vibrant and alive. He was speaking at the reopening of the revamped Malay Heritage Centre. Bahajjaj tells us more.
A new narrative that draws the links between the region and Singapore. The revamped Malay Heritage Centre reflects its expanded role as an anchor of both its Kampong Gelam neighbourhood and the community in Singapore. At its launch, Prime Minister Lawrence Wong says what the community has today is a Singaporean Malay culture.
It draws from the richness of the wider Malay world, its traditions, customs and beliefs which have been passed down from our region to our nation and across generations. But importantly, it is shaped and defined by our shared experiences as Singaporeans. Over the last 60 years, we have journeyed together as one people, regardless of race, language or religion, to build our nation and to make Singapore our home.
New multimedia installations create immersive ways to explore how identity is informed by the past and how it can take people forward. Some 280 artifacts also tell stories of key pioneers, such as Zubir Said, who composed the national anthem, and Singapore's first president, Yusof Ishak, who co-founded a Malay newspaper. There is also a stronger spotlight on Malay women and their contributions to education, literature, and the arts.
In their own ways, each of them helped to shape modern Singapore. These are stories we must continue to tell because they remind us that nation building is not the work of a few. It is the work of every citizen across generations.
PM Wong encourages the centre to collaborate across communities and make it a space precious to all Singaporeans.
From royal residence to cultural landmark, the compounds of the Malay Heritage Centre has its roots as a gathering place for leaders, traders and pilgrims. Experts say the site has the potential to recover pieces of knowledge and celebrate innovation. Bahajjaj once more.
The centre where I'm at is more than just a museum. The Malay Heritage Centre sits on ground once occupied by Malay royalty at the heart of historic Kampong Gelam. Long before this became a heritage institution, this was the Istana Kampong Gelam. It was part of a larger royal compound or Kota Raja linked to Sultan Hussein Shah in the early colonial years. The first palace was built in 1819 with its third rendition constructed in 1890, setting the foundation for today's building. But the Istana was never just a residence. It stood at the centre of a thriving port settlement where traders, artisans and pilgrims moved through, connecting the region. By the early 20th century, the Istana took on a more communal role. Its grounds hosted political meetings, social organizations and public lectures.
We must remember that in the early 20th century, there was a movement towards questioning of the situation of colonial rule among the colonized. And so many of these activities came very close to talking about the right of self-determination of peoples, or plugged into international networks that involved places that were already independent of colonial rule or were speaking out against colonial rule. And you must not forget, Kampong Gelam was also a center for an intellectual hub. Printing presses, right? The circulation of knowledge and information about international events.
Over time, the site changed with Singapore itself. From royal residence, it became a historic landmark in a district shaped by different communities, traders and traditions from across the Malay archipelago. In 2005, the building took on a new role, opening as the Malay Heritage Centre to showcase the history, culture and contributions of the Malay community in Singapore. Then, in 2015, the former Istana Kampong Gelam was gazetted as a national monument, recognising both the building and the stories it carries.
Malay Heritage Centre has the potential to be the site for the recovery of these knowledges, and that we commemorate them in ways that celebrate innovation as well as forward thinking of people of earlier periods.
The centre later closed for restoration and a revamp. The aim is not only to conserve the historic building, but also to refresh the exhibitions and expand the narrative for new generations. This is because the site tells a bigger story of Malay heritage, of Kampong Gelam, and of how Singapore remembers the communities that helped and will continue to shape it.